Biatch. See, just like our DG sisters, right there, folks. That's all I got to say.
I'm Jocelyn Greenkey with GCA Studios, and we're back with Mr. Andrew Goldman, who is an expert, and I mean expert, in programming, spending over 30 years at HBO in programming and working his way up, like the rest of us, since 1985. So here he is at Own Zones, which is an OTT platform. And what is Own Zones exactly?
It's pronounced Own Zones, it's Own Zones Media Network, and it's a triad company that focuses on technology, media, and now the third pillar being original content. We're creating original content apps that will appeal to, that focus on niche markets.
Okay.
And our flagship, our first official launch will be on February 22nd with the 420 TV app, which is very exciting, getting a lot of good buzz. And it's
what is that?
420, if you know, is kind of like slang for the time of day people light up cannabis, and smoke.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Yes.
Is that true? There's a time when everybody lights up?
Well, it's kind of like, like happy hour is officially at 5 o'clock, for people of the cannabis culture, it's 420.
Do you know where that came from?
Not a clue.
Okay, then. Let's move on.
I should know this, but
okay.
It probably has something to do with...
I always seem to ask questions in my interviews, and I stump my interviewees. But that's okay. I did it again.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so listen.
Mike Wallace of GCA Studios.
That's right. I only wish to be on 60 Minutes, and I'd have to talk like this because nobody ever moves. I've tried to recreate the 60-minute hosts. Anyway, I have a little bit more of a zhuzh, so I'm not so sure I'd ever fit in. But boy, that would be an honor to be asked.
The zhuzh.
The zhuzh. So Andrew, let's say somebody has a great idea to start a show, perhaps me, office politics, something along the line of interior design for offices, general cross-culture issues. How do you do it? You pick up your computer, your camera, and just do it yourself? And you come up and you send in 3 or 4 different pieces to you that are 4 or 5 minutes a piece?
Well,
and then you pick it up, or how does that work?
Honestly, because we're somewhat of a, semi-established organization, we like to know the work you've done. We want to see the most polished work. When we usually have ideas that we generate in-house first, and then we will go to a production house. But just say you had a great idea for a great way to kind of illuminate the 420 world that we're trying to inhabit.
The pot world.
Pardon me? Well, something, you could say the pot world, but the reality is that we're focusing on elements like medical marijuana miracles,
right,
our shows, or the business element with a show called Cannabis. We also have a show called In Amsterdam, which probably is the most pot world-like show out there because it's kind of the birthplace of cannabis and kind of being accepted by a culture and everything. And we have a wonderful host who's kind of taking us to all the high points. And, it's just the way alcohol is kind of ingrained into the American society here, the way cannabis is over in Amsterdam. My point is, we're doing something, our tagline is for the converted and the curious. This is not your mom and dad's Cheech and Chong type channel. We're taking a very serious approach to this. We have executives from Netflix and Amazon and HBO and E, kind of behind this thing. So it's a...
It's a serious
look at the business.
Okay, but get back to how to somebody who does have an idea. What do they have to do?
What do they have to do?
Yeah.
Well, they have to, look, in all fairness, if you had an idea, you can contact me and we can backdoor it. The reality is most people have to kind of go through proper channels and kind of pitch, and we have to see it and vet your work first before we call you in. And then you probably have to sign an NDA, because what if we had something similar in development that you had just pitched?
Right.
So just kind of protect ourselves.
Okay. Do I have to have anything ready to go or just an idea?
Just an idea and how you would go about executing it and what your voice would be. in executing that idea. We would, of course, like to we're always looking for partners that we can work with. I think in any business, people are looking like that you will return our calls in a timely manner. You will listen to our notes,
Right.
and hopefully bring to life and execute. So we have a real collaboration that we bring the best product to life imaginable.
So do you pay me for my idea, or are the deal structures similar to linear? How do those deal structures work now?
Well, we pay you for the show. We don't necessarily pay you for the idea. I mean, if you came up with an idea, but I will say that most of the things we're doing at Own Zones, we generate our own ideas and we look for production houses to bring them to life.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, then you're
Because,
moving into the
here's the
same
thing.
model.
We on
It's the
some,
same model
what do you
as
mean?
linear.
Yeah, but sometimes, people do what is called the spec. They come in with their own idea and pitch.
Okay.
Something that
And
we might not have thought of.
how do people make money from this in general?
They get paid. The check clears. Okay.
I understand that. Is that through views, or how is it that?
No, I mean, look, we're paying for it. Look, there might be something structured in which maybe you get a piece of the advertising revenue, but
Mhm.
most people like money up front, and then we get it. The reality is we want to own it. We're the ones gambling. We're the ones putting down a big sweaty pile of cash. Of course, if you had a finished product and we loved it, we would potentially acquire it through an acquisition process, which is more like we rent it for a certain amount of time as opposed to producing it. I mean, less money, but if we acquire it through on an exclusive basis, you'd get more money. If we acquire it on a non-exclusive basis, means you have the opportunity to sell to other venues and outlets.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. I mean, it's I wouldn't call it complicated, but it definitely takes focus and mindfulness to understand the business.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
No, I
So,
mean, something. Here's the thing: there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of elements in terms of how to put a program lineup together, and a lot of people, exclusivity, I think, is a very good factor. It doesn't have to be all exclusive, because once you have something that pops and it's exclusive to your network, it can help brand your network. So that's one of the things we're trying to do now. We have, close to 10 series that we're launching in the next year, and by doing that, if one pops, we immediately get aligned with that, that brand, and people know to come to us for that show particular. And one show can be used to give life to another show and another show and another show.
right. And so what, besides the cannabis channel, what other channels are you looking at now?
Well, we're looking at developing a female millennial channel, an urban channel, possibly an anime channel. So there's a lot of plates spinning in the Own Zones.
Okay. Okay. And
A
you're
lot
doing,
of niche. Think about niche. Okay. When I say niche, 5 million people could be a niche. If you think about a global, population of many billions, but 5 million people can make something very profitable.
right, understood. Okay, well, I just came up with 5 ideas for each one of those major niches that you're talking about, so I can't wait to discuss over cocktails at 5.
Okay, wonderful. I'm having the locks change and I'm changing my number. So
Okay, we'll be back with Andrew Goldman for another segment. Thank you.
thank you, Jocelyn.